Yo, we back for another week. What's happening, gentlemen?
What up,
What's
Josh?
going
What's
on?
What's
What
happening?
is up?
Our long lost friend Anthony is
There he
back
is.
Yes,
tonight. Good to see you, my brother.
yes. Good to be back.
Found him. Found him.
Found
I
him.
did.
We
I
found
did.
him wandering. He was
That's
wandering,
right. That's
but
right.
nah, good to be back. We got two, one under the weather, one's here, one didn't make it, and one's a little tired. So if you're watching at home and you don't want me to run the show, you can scroll on out. But we'd appreciate it if you stayed. It's gonna be a good one for sure. Man, midlife crisis or identity crisis of the midlife, whatever you want to talk about it. So this one should hit home a little bit for all of us who are all in that. Y'all are in the top half of that midlife. Me, I'm still kind of in the middle of that. But statistics, I'm gonna go off what Matt sent me. So at some point between ages 35 and 55, many men begin to wrestle with questions they never expected to ask. Like, I'm sure we've all asked it. Is this all it is? Did I choose the right career? Am I the right father that I thought I would be? Those resonate? Have we asked ourselves those? Any of y'all? Open it up.
Yeah.
Couple times, maybe.
I'm not in midlife right now because the Bible says I can get 120 years minimum. So I ain't there yet.
But I think you're the closest to midlife for all of us. Though.
No, Devo's the closest.
Well, I would say I have questioned my career decisions many times.
Yeah.
You know, always just trying to think whether or not you made the right decision or you made the wrong decision. But it's I don't know, man. It's just something that kind of wanes, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
It comes and goes, and you just kind of, as the good book says, you better pray on it, you know, and just pray that you've made the right decision. But I don't know, man. The older I get, the more that I am willing just to believe, you know. I think early on, I used to think that I had control and that I was doing the darn thing. But the older I get, I found out that I wasn't doing nearly. And so it's something to be said just to kind of be humble where you're at and make sure that your eyes are open so that you can see what the good Lord is trying to use you for.
True. Well, I think that's like it becomes a point of like a quiet frustration. I don't know about you guys, but like I kind of retreat. Or what you said, Debo, is like it is like a turning point. Like, okay, where's my purpose? Let me clarify this. Let me go deeper. And hopefully we can obviously discuss that tonight and how we can, you know, identify that, how we can build on achievements and success and not be so is this it type of thing. So anybody else got anything? I got a question to start off when we get there, but I know Eric got something, I'm sure.
No, I mean, I don't necessarily think about midlife crisis. I certainly have heard of midlife crisis, and I know it exists, and I know it's real. But man, I'm in like in a sweet spot right now because all I think about, well, I think about Aaron all the time. So let's get that straight. That's a disclaimer. I think about Aaron all the time. And I think about these boys like 24/7. They consume me. Like just being around them, you know, wanting to, you know, be in their presence, hanging out with them, just getting to know them. Their identities are starting to shape and form, and they're actually listening to me and whatnot. Certain situations that's going on. I tell you, the funniest conversation that Ethan and I had the other day was about a girl that's starting to write him little letters now. And I'm like, dude, you don't want that trouble right now.
Check yes or no, baby. Nope.
But it's funny because he's sitting there questioning his feelings now, his emotions, whatnot. Mom and I are like, dude, you got 2 more weeks to the midterms and don't let them grades slip. I'm about to go over there and cut somebody. But it's funny that he's now in that phase of life. And so it's like, yes, I'm aware that, you know, I don't look and feel the way I did maybe 10 or 15 years ago, but I don't actually care, to be honest with you, because I'm having fun being a dad. I absolutely am in a sweet spot being their father. And so this will be fun to just listen, you know, to listen to things. Y'all know about the situation I had with the health scare last year, and my little obit and all kinds of how to survive if I'm not here type things that I did. That was crazy talk. And I know that there comes a time when you got to be real and think about those things, because you don't know if that is the end. But I feel like God gave me a new lease on life, man. I've gained weight, but I don't trip out about it because my stomach is bulletproof. I can eat what I want to now. So it's almost like I'm making up for last year because I couldn't eat anything, and now I'm eating everything. I'm gaining weight, but then I'm like, if I want to lose it, I'll lose it. I started Sunday, was like, okay, cutting sugar until May. So let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
So
it's gonna be May.
it's like, let's go.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go.
Anthony?
Yeah, I never experienced the midlife crisis. What I experienced was an awareness that I have less time in front of me than I do behind me. I have more time behind me than I do in front of me, I guess is how I should say it. So that was kind of an awakening of like, man, every moment's precious now. Like it's go time. Like to use what Eric just said, like it's time to live and on both sides of leaving a legacy for the children, but also like enjoying life
Yeah.
going forward, and like it's got to mean something, time is short.
True. Devo, anything?
No, I mean, I couldn't agree more with what everybody has said.
Yeah.
Being a father, I think, brings a certain awareness. But
Sure.
now, knowing that I'm on the downslope, it's party time, man. Like I don't do anything that I don't want to do.
Right.
Like I promise you. Like it's been analyzed, and if it's not something that's gonna be enjoyable, like I told a member of my family the other day, like I don't have no time for drama. You know what I'm saying? Like so, like either you is or you ain't. And I'm okay, baby. Either way it go, you know what I'm saying? And like it don't
Yeah.
matter. It don't
Yeah.
matter. Like these seconds are few and far between.
True.
And so I'm trying to make each and every one of them count.
That's
And
right.
if we can't achieve that, but I guess I need to probably couple that with just saying, like, please know that I'm not footloose and fancy free by any means. That's not what I'm saying. I think I've gained more of awareness for who I am in Christ as the older I get, and my obligation to love Him and to be a disciple. Like we just never know whose path we come across.
True.
Who we are, Gandhi. Who we are, Mother Teresa. Who we are, Billy Graham. We just never know, and so like we need to kind of be on point. You know what I'm saying? So that's. But yeah, I ain't trying to get caught up in a bunch of drama, and if it ain't hit, it ain't me.
Right.
So
I think you're right in that was where if it's not, it's like people are like, you can like making memories instead of the stuff, or collecting memories instead of collecting stuff. And I think the older we get, the older our kids get, and you, like Anthony said, like kids are getting older, but like I'm trying to live too, like party too. And I think the awareness and the, in him and what we're created to do, you can do all of that. And if you don't have the drama or the extras or the whatever, you're not putting out what people aren't putting back into you. It's like, this is actually pretty awesome. But if you start with the drama and you start to start over, like you can't make everybody happy. You also can't, make everybody do what you want to do. Not everybody has the same heart you have. So as long as we're true with us and staying in those guidelines, it should be fun. Is it going to be tough? Absolutely. But I think it's when you start worrying about, blame it on a midlife or blame it on work or blame it on feelings or whatever, like then that's when you get caught up and you're not living life. I think that's where that comes from. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. All right. Questions. First one, I'll go first segment. When achievement stops answering the deep questions, I think we kind of answered it, but can you, looking back, what were some ladders that you were climbing early on in your life? And I know we've all been through it. So early on, meaning 5 years ago or even earlier, climbing in your early life, and were they leaning against the right wall? Ooh.
So the quick answer is no.
Next question. No.
Right.
Yeah.
We can move on next segment. And I was waiting for you to drop that "Blame It on the Rain," but you didn't. So I'm a little disappointed on you, Josh.
Sorry.
I know in my situation, like I've always thought I had to climb the corporate ladder, and like in education, it looks a little bit different. But it was like, tap out on this terminal degree. You know what I'm saying? Tap out on the highest level, which is being a principal, or being a superintendent, which never ascended to. Or it was, and then like I got there and I was like, now what? It was this whole sense of just emptiness because it wasn't necessarily for the right reasons. And yeah, it's gotta be deeply rooted, or at least I wish I had mine deeply rooted. Now, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed my time. I enjoyed what I did. I enjoyed the kiddos 85% of the time. So like all that was fun. It was enjoyable. I wouldn't go back and change anything. But I really wish I had took my time and kind of develop in the process. It was just like boom, boom, boom. What I got to get to the next spot? What I got to get to the next spot? Right. And next thing you know, you're there. And it was kind of like we was talking about a couple of weeks ago. It's like leadership. Like, a lot of people get anointed being a leader and not even ready for it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I was ready. I mean, I feel like I had some good training ground, but I go back to my point again. Like, I don't think you ever really ready to be a leader. It's just when the fire strike, do you have the capacity or do you have the skill set to deal with the situation there within? And so like, that's kind of where it is. And either you do, or maybe even you don't, but yet you do enough good stuff to portray that you do. And it's so convoluted. And so like, that's tough. That's tough.
I think you guys got anything like where you thought you were going to go, like leaning that ladder this way and like, oh shoot, like I think we've all taken jobs probably that we didn't really want, or gotten in relationships we didn't really want, or put all of our eggs over here with this family member or this friend or whatever, and leaning it against the wrong wall.
Yeah, I said a couple of years ago when we very first started, if y'all recall, I said I would never disparage my mom and dad on the podcast by, whatever I might have felt was something they did or said that I didn't agree with growing up or whatnot. But I will say this, not because of anything that they did, but because I was rebellious and hard-headed. But I tried to use leaving App to go to Georgia as a launch pad of rebellion, because I knew I had the teaching fellows where I had to come back. That was the thing. You graduate, you come back, and you start teaching. But it was just that spirit of rebellion was like, I didn't want to come back home. I didn't want to be under, that, I guess what you would say, lock and key, because I didn't really have a true pathway for what I wanted to do. But I just knew it didn't lead back to home. And so putting my ladder up against the wrong wall was really just out of rebellion. I'd lean it up against any wall if it meant not coming back home. And that sounds really bad. But when I think about it in full circle now, man, I should have been here years ago. I should have been somewhere close, plugged into my family, my home, my dad, my mom, my sisters, even before I lost my older sister, much sooner than I did. And so, but just sheer rebellion and hard-headedness, I had to grow up hard. And a lot of times, and Devo knows this, sleep in my car, try to figure out, okay, how am I going to pay certain bills? I mean, when I was at Georgia, when you think about University of Georgia from grad school times from 97 to 99, you would think, oh man, he's in Athens. That's cool. That dude's, whatever. But I was literally get a check on one day, and the very next day all the bills are paid, and it was like I'm broke for the next 20 days, 30 days. And I was living a life in secrecy because my parents didn't know what was going on in Athens. They just saw, hey, he's at Georgia's having a good time. But I was broke as a mug and living a life where no one else had to struggle, and living my struggle, just me. But I kept this outer exterior like I'm doing good, I'm balling, but I wasn't. I was broke and broke down inside.
Is that because our identity as men gets wrapped into what we do, like our performance or what we're doing? Is that because of that? Do you think that's a man thing, a pride thing?
No,
You think that
no,
was a you thing?
that was straight jacket ego. That was like, I'd rather be broke and miserable than to go home and have to face the music that I didn't do the things that I had been taught.
What? I told you.
You know, the things that I was taught, the way I was raised, the community that was really praying for me to be successful, whatever that meant. I just would rather be broken in my ego than to have to face the music. So I stumbled quite a bit. You know, Devo knows how many times, Lord knows I'm thinking about how blessed I am now, but he knows how many times I stumbled upon somebody like, this is the one. This is the one. Like, dude, you're fooling yourself. No, it's not. It's the one right now.
Right.
You know, for the weekend, it ain't the one.
I want to know how big that car was you was sleeping in, because you're not a little fella.
Now I had a Honda Civic.
Baby, white.
And I literally, I said I was gonna ride that thing to the wheels fall off, and literally the right passenger wheel literally fell off on the highway. I was driving. I was like, oh, got to get another car. But it's just crazy. To that point, talk about the Civic. We talk about rebellious. The day I took it off the lot, High Point, North Carolina, took it off the lot. I drove to Tennessee. Where did I go in Tennessee? I went to
Johnson City.
No, I didn't go to Johnson City. Right outside of it, I went to. Oh goodness, I'm drawing a blank. Oh goodness. Anyway, it's on 81.
Irwin.
Bristol.
It ain't Bristol. It's closer to Knoxville. Good Lord, I'm running a blank. Maybe the Lord ain't want me to say the city, but anyway.
Probably.
But I did off the lot. Mom thought I went back to Boone, but I was in Tennessee, acting a fool, just like, what am I doing? And so maybe my crisis was more early life crisis, because I was really at my wit's end. And I'll say in true transparency, my midlife crisis was in Knoxville when I left Georgia, moved to Tennessee, and from 99 to 2003, I had so much fun. Devo knows I had so much fun. However, if I had died, I'd been in hell. Real talk. I was living so outside of the covenant, outside of what I had been raised to do. I mean, I'm talking about sinning and grinning and keep the change. And knowing for a fact that people would see me, they were like, hey, did you do such and such? Well, did I see you in such and such? No, that wasn't me. There were times where I didn't even know where my car was. We go downtown and have to get my boy Donis. You know Donis. Donis take me home so many times. I would like come back to work. Where's my car? How did I even get to work? You know? And so when I think about this in terms of midlife, supposed to be 50s, 60s, mine was in my late 20s. Like it was like, I'm living like I only have 2 more years left. I'm so reckless, you know? And so to be 51 now, man, that is a blessing. It's a joy. It's so much gratitude now. So I don't see it as a midlife to determine what's the next 50 going to look like. I'm going to get old, this, that, and the third. I look at it as gratitude because I got out of my 30s unscathed, grace, and did not lose my life and have a story to tell, because, man, I got good stories to tell. Funny stories. Dad's a minister, be like, how you living in sin like that? And your father is who he is. I'm like, well, it's just to be able to tell a good story because I got them. Great stories.
Working on my testimony.
Yeah. But like you said, Devon, it's about discipleship because, you know, I can't say I was buttoned up. I came from a button up home, but I chose not to be buttoned up. But now I can come in with a little stink on me and say, hey, you know, he loved me despite that. Yeah. And I got some sweat equity in this life I live. And so now with what I feel like he's blessed me with now, it's just like, that's because of him, not because of me. He's like, despite all that bull, I still want you to have my best.
Yeah. It's good. That's good. What is Anthony? Anything?
Yeah, 2 things. So let me speak first to the question. I'm going to kind of jump in on what Eric said also. Is my problem, I never got any ladders on any walls at all. And Devon laughs at me because I like to say, yeah, you know, I went to Virginia Tech and, you know, I started in engineering and that, you know, I did this, but I didn't finish any of it. And so, you know, Devon picks on me about that. And I probably should stop saying it, honestly. I did attend Virginia Tech, and I was in engineering, but not for very long.
Yeah.
And so, I just never got any ladders on any walls, and was blessed to be granted a business, to be honest with you, to run, and that is my sweet spot is working with these people every day. But so Eric, we just came from a men's meeting this past weekend, and the title of it was called "Forged in Fire,"
Mm.
right? And when I hear that story, right, and I'm looking at your house right now behind you, right, and you're talking about living in a Honda Civic for a time, right? But that was part of that forging in the fire, in Devon, what was it, Job 20? Was that the theme verse?
23:10.
I don't know, but it was where Job says
Let me
he
find
knows my coming and going, and when oh man, anyway, I'm gonna come out as gold, right, refined and pure. And so I think it's important to understand, like, and give in those stories context. And you said it, Eric. I'm just agreeing with you. I'm affirming what you said. Is like those things lead us, if we're blessed by the grace of God,
Mhm.
to right where He wants us today, right? And there's forging in that fire that happens from that, man. And you have a story to tell. Most importantly, to your boys, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. True. That's good. Well, I think and I think that comes with what Devo was saying, like and what you guys are all saying is all those trials, tribulations, good, bad, ugly, ladder, all that stuff have brought us to where we are. And the question I get, and I'm sure you guys do too, like, what do you ever regret anything? And I struggle with that answer, but the regret is not in the decisions that I made because that's brought me to where I am. Sometimes it's in the decisions that I didn't make. I can't regret anything that I did do because it has brought me to where I am, which Anthony saying, look, you living in the Civic, house, kids, health, all that stuff. But I think sometimes and with Anthony, with you, that's brought you to where you are. And
Mhm.
all of those things shape shift where we are and what we're doing, and whether we go through what people call that midlife crisis or not. Like Eric's like, shoot, I already went through that in their 20s. We're going to talk to Eric in 3 years and be like, bruh, I was wrong. I'm going through it now. But I think it's based on faith. It's based on grace. I think it's based on when we have kids, when we don't have kids, career path, who we surround ourselves with. Because there's some people that are like, I never had a midlife crisis. And what are those? Who are they around? What people are they around? Or what do they know that we don't know? So I don't know if it's, as a man, I think, and it goes into one of the notes I was reading with Matt's, is like our identity gets so wrapped up in work or providing or whatever that we miss what you're talking about, Eric, of, I'm just enjoying being a dad. Not that you're not working hard and you're not pushing and pressing, but a lot of men get so wrapped up in, you know what, I have to provide and I just have to go, go, go. And that's our identity. But then what does that leads me into my next question? What does that cost us? If our identity we get so wrapped up in who we are, what does it cost us? In the end, time, energy, money, a divorce, a relationship with a kid, a business, like what does it cost us? And how can we eliminate the pride, the ego in getting our identity wrapped up and being like, you know what? Like, I just am who I am. And I think it's sometimes we learn a little too late on any of that stuff. You guys got any thoughts on that? That was a lot. Sorry.
That was good, Eric. Oh,
That was good. This was good. Good stuff.
It was too much.
You weren't writing it down, Devo. That's why you said it was too much. I got that all by myself.
Oh, that was good.
Anybody want to jump on it? I got something if you don't.
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead, Devo.
I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of times we get caught up in this persona of who we are, who we think we are, or who our title says we are, or how our title reads, and people disseminate who we are. You know what I'm saying? Like all that's so mixed up and jumbled up and confabulated. Like it's just it doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes. And I know me a lot of times. Well, I'll just chasing and just chasing and just chasing. And as a man, like I think men, going back to our last segment, one, we can't admit when we're wrong, right? So we continue to forge on, and we continue to try or go down that trail, that rabbit trail, a lot of times, in which we feel is right. And so I just remember my dad. My dad is the hardest working man I know. You know what I'm saying? He went to 4 weeks and I mean, excuse me, 4 days a week back during the '80s, and he went out and got a second job washing trailers. And I was like, ooh, dude, just enjoy working. He was like, no, fool, we broke. I'm trying to keep the lights on. And like, I'm just so ignorant that I ain't even recognize that. And so,
Right.
but I don't think that's any different in my vein. Whereas, like, professionally, I knew that I need to obtain this or obtain that. And then I could kind of push on. And it's almost to a detriment of my family. Like, I was so aggressive in my career that I didn't take the time to nurture my family and the steps that they needed, that we needed, in order to grow and to grow together. So I
Yeah.
think a lot of times as men, we're so damn focused on hunting and killing the bear and dragging it back in that we lose sight of the real value of being head of the household, right? Which is bringing our family along with us and making sure that we're pouring into them, making sure they get what they need in order to ascend to new heights. And
Yeah.
so, like that's kind of like I'm like you, Josh. Like I try not to regret, and I don't regret anything that I've done, because any one of those steps, if you pull the wedge out or the widget out, uh, it may not traverse to where we are today, right? And or to where we think we are. I don't know,
Yeah.
but nevertheless, like I don't regret anything, but I do wish I had taken more time to pour into my family and to, especially like my wife tells me all the time, they're gonna be gone one day. They're gonna be gone one day. Yes,
Yep.
Carolina's on, but they're gonna be gone one day. Yes. And so
They better
like
sit down and watch it with me then.
right, why do you think they had Carolina now, right?
Right, exactly.
And then God, but all with that too, God's got a sense of humor because my middle girl, she don't go to no sports events, and so I'm just like, what are we doing? But nevertheless, I digress.
Right.
So like, yeah, as a man, I wish I had have taken more time to pour into my family and develop them as much as I developed my career. I wish it had been a 50-50.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I have to admit today that it wasn't.
Yeah.
Probably not even close.
Yeah.
Man,
That-
Debo, I feel you so much on that because there are days where I was sitting here saying when I was first on Facebook, I was looking at a lot of my high school friends who had children that were, getting ready to graduate from college, or maybe they were high school getting ready to go to college. And at that time, Aaron and I didn't even have children. And I was like, dang, man, it was, wish I would have had some kids or something. And then when obviously we did have, and I was the caboose of all my friends with little babies, and everybody's got kids in college and stuff. And I had let myself think, man, I wish we would have had children early so I could enjoy them when I was a lot younger or whatever. But when you think about it, man, I wouldn't have had it any other way, because we were able to really focus on one another, building our lives together as husband and wife, but also building our careers. So a lot of that ascension was more so the demands that it put on our times where we didn't see each other. When we were climbing the pinnacle of our career, we both were in Dover, and it was funny. We used to joke at each other, say, at least I know you're not cheating on me because your car's still here, my car's still here in the Provost. And so all three of us still here. So we would be laughing, but it was like, no sense of going home because we're going to go to a cold home because nobody else is there. So we just worked, and that's what we did. So I was glad that our kids didn't see that during those times.
Yeah.
So that now that I can kind of scale down and do something different that would allow me to have more time or reclaim my time that I can spend with them. So the trade-offs are good in the time that we're not around, and we were building and building to where now I put the priority around them and everything else around the family.
Yeah.
That's
Good.
love.
Yep. Yeah. Anybody else? Next question is like money right now. I mean, I was taking notes. If I'm running this ship tonight, Matt said I'm like on taking notes. What's the difference between a man who goes through a midlife crisis and a man who goes through a midlife transformation? And what makes the difference? I think we've all kind of talked about transformation, but I know we know people that have just gone off the deep end is obviously figure of speech, but people that have gone like legit through a midlife crisis and like, you know what, I'm selling this car and I'm buying another one or a bigger house or we need a boat or we need whatever. Like, what's the difference? What makes the difference? Is it what we just talked about? The people they're around? I had kids earlier or I had kids later? What's the difference?
I'll jump in on this one. And I'm gonna tell you, like, a lot of this men's meeting is just gonna come up tonight, and I apologize about that.
No,
No, that's good.
But
I'm sorry,
one
I
of
missed
the
it. I want to come.
yeah, one of the statements that was said was right now, and this is a midlife crisis, is you're taught to love things and use people. Whereas a transformation would be you learn to love people and use things.
These things.
And I think that's the difference. And that's what, at the very beginning I was talking about is, understanding how much you have less time ahead of you is you start to learn, I got to love people and not things, stuff. Right. But midlife crisis would probably say, I need more things. I need to love more things and just use people, because they're going to get in the way. They're going to cost me happiness and joy, but those things won't. But a transformation says quite the opposite.
That's good.
That's deep. That's
That
deep.
is deep.
That's not mine. I forget who said it, but it was somebody on the stage.
Was it Dungy?
So,
Did Tony say that? Was Dungy was there, right?
yeah, he didn't say that though.
He didn't say that. Yeah,
I don't remember who said that, but
I think when you and we've talked obviously the faith aspect of it, the kids aspect of that. I mean, I struggle with people that go through tough times that don't have him, that don't have faith or have a security of, and I say it all the time here online in my like faith and fear. You can't have both. You have what you have one or the other. So if you live in fear, then I think that's your midlife crisis because everything's happening and you're just on defense. If you're in a midlife transformation, it's like, hey, I got faith that it's all going to work out. Good times are going to last and I'm going to get through it, or bad times aren't going to last and I'm going to get over it, or I'm going to get through that, get past that. But that's I think something tough for men, that we get wrapped in our identity, we get wrapped in the ego, we get wrapped in what we woulda, shoulda, coulda because we're protector, and we miss the fact of the transformation or maybe the pivot to it's the thought process. The thought process. I can think my way into the fact that I need a new car, or I can think my way into the fact that I need a boat or whatever, or think my way into needing a new job. But I think a lot of people are scared to not think that. It's easier to just be like, well, this will solve all my problems. I think that's that midlife crisis. If I get a better job, everything will be fine. If we have another baby, everything will be fine. If I have a new relationship, everything will be fine. And it's here. It's here. That's the problem.
that's good.
But I love that. Loving people and using things as opposed to loving things and using people. Whew.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that on a video this week, Anthony. I'm not giving nobody credit because you didn't know who said it.
At Ignite Men's Ministry.
Yes. If somebody sees it, they'll be like, I said that. Why didn't he give me credit? They'll reach out. Trust me, it's happening.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's
I'm
funny.
sure.
That's a great transformation or midlife. Like that's good right there.
And I like that. I like the language better because it's a mind renewal, what the Bible says, and being renewed by the transforming of your mind. It's a mind renewal thing. I've just changed the language. Don't use crisis. Use transformation. Because that's active. That's a process. That's growth. That's dying to self. That's things that don't cause you to react as quickly as it would. It causes you to think, pause. what's the way the cost if I react to my emotions in this? And so, these are the things where you're not always thinking about that when you're younger, or maybe you're snapping because it's just, hey, you don't disrespect me like that, so you snap.
Right.
With children now, you're thinking, okay, what's the cost if they see me snap, whether it's at their mother or snap because of pressures of what's around them.
Yep.
How much anxiety do they carry in that burden to think that maybe something they did they bring it on? So I think that transformation portion of it is it puts the onus on the relationship with Christ to know that he's the burden bearer. Aaron and I are going through something right now where I just flat out told her, I said, hey, I ain't worried about it. I'm about to go to sleep. I don't know what you did, but I'm going to sleep because I can't carry that burden.
Yep.
And I need the Lord to carry that burden. And I said, the one thing that I know as a believer is that no one will get to heaven, or at least at the door before they get in, and have something that happened to them where they had to come back and say, you were a liar. Because he's a
He ain't
man
a
that
liar.
he should never lie. He's not a liar.
He's a liar.
And it said, if you get to that point where you feel that way, that's on you. That ain't on him. And so when I say, when he's there to carry our burden, I'll leave it alone. I ain't worried about it no more, because I can't stomach that, or I can't lift that heavy load. And that's come through mind renewal, a transformation that comes through grace and understanding.
Well, that's faith over fear.
Yeah.
That's faith over fear right there. That's just, that's that's
and I think a lot of times we don't realize how weak we are. That's another nugget from our weekend away. Like we just think we're men. Like, I'm strong. Like, I'm gonna push through it. I'm gonna run through that wall. Like, ain't nobody gonna stop me. Shoot, I'm Devo. Like, I got this. And like, sometimes the Lord will slap you upside the head. Sometimes he just step out the way and let you fall flat on your face. And like, I think where we are now, that whole transformational piece, is we're able to realize that more. And exactly what you said, it's a heart issue. Like, is your heart right? You know what I'm saying? God tells us over and over and over in his word that we need to turn it over to him. But yet again, we still think we I was gonna say King something, but that probably ain't appropriate. But we think we Big Willie, and we think we can
right.
We think we can just push through, and man, it's not.
No.
It's not. Like what you said just a minute ago, Eric. Like, you think about the child's perspective. Like, I wish 20 years ago that I had a thought about how my children are perceiving my actions.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
That's how we were raised, right?
That's exactly how we was raised. And I'm that same knucklehead. Like, I didn't know any better. Yeah, I took a lot of classes on child development, but yet, the household was still popping. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's just a certain way you moved in the house. And so, like, I just thought that was it. And I thought I knew better. And I thought I worked with thousands of kids. So, like, I thought I had a big enough sample size, not knowing that I'm probably harming my kids, or not. Maybe not harming. Harming may be a little worse, harsh of a word to say, but
you could have done it a little better.
Yeah, I could have done it a little differently, or I could have just checked in, ask, "Hey, what you think about that?" Like, that's what I do now. Like, I'm quick to ask, "Hey, do you want my help?
Yep.
Do you feel like you need my help?" Or, when you're ready, I'll be over here on the couch watching the Carolina basketball.
Watching the Carolina game.
Yeah, you just let me know.
We've all alluded to it, and that's nothing new to people listening. But the follow-up question to that transformation, how has, and we've kind of alluded to it, but if we want to add anything to it, how has anchoring our identity in Christ practically changed the way we handle seasons of uncertainty or transition? How does it now change from what it was? I mean, we've all selfish, arrogant, ego, all those things. But now that we're grounded, or we don't worry about our identity as much, how does that change how we handle tough times? Or, I love the pivot, transition. What was the other word that you said, Eric? the transformation.
Transformation.
Like I love like pivot. Like, oh, you need to change that. Well, no, I'll just pivot. I don't want to change all of it. I just need to pivot just a little bit. Or sometimes I need to make a full on turn. But how does us being rooted change how we deal with it? Devo, is just like what you just said.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware of it more because I use in the home a lot the notion of creating Ishmaels when I want to do it in my own strength or in my own timing. So I'll use the phrase to Aaron. I say, I just don't want to create an Ishmael in this situation. I don't want to step out of God's timing, and so I'm going to be patient and I'm going to wait, and I'm really going to hear from God on certain situations that that I know I need to be listening. Otherwise, it is going to be like Devon said, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and do what I got to do. But that's something that when you're talking about getting anchored in, you're a little less likely to go and create chaos because you have to take ownership of all of that. But when you sit and you're anchored and you know you're operating in God's timing, He blesses you over and over and over and over. And He sends people to go fight your battles in certain situations. They may go talk before you. You may not even know who He's got out and anchored in different places that are clearing the path for you to walk into the thing that He's got established for you because He did it. And so what feels like, it's taking too much time, or I have to move to this city, or this, that, and the third, is actually strategically placing it in a way that all you have to do is just walk into it. And so that's how I've kind of approached things later in life, just being patient and resting. I heard it said, again, you can take this, Josh, too. I know that it's been said that when we work, God rests, and when we rest, God works. And so I prefer the latter because I don't want to get busy and caught up in my own strength trying to do things, and I may disqualify myself for all the blessings that God has for me because I was trying to do it myself. So I just have learned to just literally rest, not sit and go to sleep, rest, but just be content with, okay, I can't handle that, and I'm gonna focus on this.
He don't need us to be God. He's pretty good at it. And I think that's where we get like, I got it. I got it. Being a man, like what Debo said, hey, I'm strong. I can go through the wall. I can do it. Like, He doesn't need us to be God. He just needs us to listen. Right. And I think that's one of the things that we struggle with, I think, as men or just as people, with everything coming at us from every direction, parenting, job, like whatever it is, it's hard for us just to listen. And you said it, His timing. Like my favorite song got me through divorce. It's got me through that elevation worship, Wait on You. Like it makes you stronger. It makes you just have to wait, because we're like, all right, God, I need you. I need you. Like that's our time. He's never early. He's never late. He's always on time. It's us that gets into our like I need it now. Like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to do it myself. And that's where we create the chaos or create the, you really want to do that? Like, well, I already did it. So it's good. Anthony, Devo, anything?
I gotta say, Eric, that illustration with Ishmael was like so appropriate. When you step out of God's will, the chaos that ensues. And like that's just a great analogy, man. Like that just nailed it. So going back to the men's meeting, one of the things they said was, when you usually get what you want, you don't get what you need.
That's right.
And so, and so, that hit me hard is like, do my desires match up with what God has for me? And if not, if I get what I want, I'm probably not getting what I actually need. And that kind of just goes on with like what Eric said. Like that was just such a great analogy. Like I don't even know, I can't even add anything to that because biblically, all the chaos that pursued after Ishmael came was like it was so bad. And we know who his ancestors are today, right? And so that chaos is like evident. And so, man, that was just a great illustration. I just want to like commend you on that, Eric. That was fantastic.
That's good. All right, we rounding out. 14 minutes left. Becoming a man, our family needs, your family, our family. 4 questions. Am I present? Am I grounded? Am I leading with wisdom? And am I emotionally available? Which one challenges you the most right now and why? Come on, Josh, getting deep on a Tuesday night. If I knew how to work this restream, I'd put them up so we didn't have to remember.
Right. I'm like, now what was number 1 again?
So,
I was about to say, what was number 4? Yeah.
Am I present? Am I grounded? Am I leading with wisdom? And am I emotionally available? And which one challenges us the most right now and why? And leading our family.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
I will say, like, in the height of chasing and leaning ladders, I don't know that I could talk to any of those. I think I was a 0 for 0 in all 4 of them.
Yeah.
I do believe I'm getting better. I think now the one that challenged me the most is just being emotionally grounded, because I feel like I'm a new vessel. Like turning 50 just does something to you, man. You just like reevaluate everything, right?
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And so like I see my missteps, but I am who I am.
Right.
So if you say something crazy, or what may give the indication of being crazy, like
You reverting back.
Yeah.
Right. I'm 25 again, bro.
Yeah, that's just
Like,
how I'm built, bro. Like, hey, I'm from the Trey Fo. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm gonna pop off, but then I'm eventually probably gonna come back 3 minutes later.
Right.
3.5, and be like, hey, I'm sorry for this. I overreacted. Let's process this together. It was so convicting. Heather last week told me, she was like, your words were so hurtful. Hurtful?
Right. What'd I say?
That was a primary sentence. And so like I had to check myself, I like, hey, okay, facts. I'm sorry. And then like it just ate me up over the course of this weekend. I was like, wow. She said my word. Actually, she used the word harsh. And I was just like, wow, that just hit a brother and just kind of just flowed all through me. And I was like, all right, D, you gotta make this right. And you gotta do better. You just gotta do better. Like you gotta keep your emotions in check, regardless of what you think to be the truth. Right. A lot of times, like our truth is not other people's truth for sure.
Right.
And it may not be the correct truth at all.
Right. But for us, it is.
Right.
And that ain't changing.
But for that timestamp, it definitely is the truth, right?
Right. Right.
And so, like, yeah, the whole emotional piece is where I struggle and where I need to grow more as a man, as a leader.
Well, women are complex. Like, let's just be real. But so are we.
Correct.
Like, it takes in that piece, because I think the emotional availability and emotional, immature, whatever you want to call it, is communication. And I think we as men shy away from, and I think I've said on here before, but like we shy away from those tough conversations or sharing feelings or emotions because we feel like we're getting shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Women we're just not, it's this hamster wheel. We're not presented the right way. We're presenting it how I would tell y'all, but they're like, no. You're not. They're like, we're taking it as
I ain't your boy.
Right. Exactly. Like, so it's the hamster wheel of then I'm just not going to tell you, or I'm not going to share it with you. I'll go share it with the boys. And then it's like, well, you don't ever share anything with me. Well, you shut me down. It's just that constant cycle, but that's the emotional availability, immaturity, maturity, but it has to start somewhere. And I always say, like, if you know where it's coming from, like, then I'm okay with that. Like Devo, like with Heather saying that, like she knows where it's coming from. she feels comfortable enough, marriage, all that, to go, that's harsh. You took it out, as I'd be like, what? I ain't even do. Okay.
You want to see harsh.
Right. You want to see harsh. But where it was coming from her, which made you 15 years ago, 20 years ago, you would have been like, it would have been an argument probably, or you would have stood your ground. Now you're like, hold on, I didn't. And then it ate you up. That's emotional maturity. So that's, like you said, we all have to work on that. I'm with you on that one. It's so Anthony, Eric. Dr. Huxtable. No. Next question. I mean, I got him. We got 8 minutes. Come on.
I'm good.
Hey,
I'm good.
I will say a piece that Pastor Tim Timberlake said from this weekend, and he was like, "If you confess it, you can change it. But if you don't confess it, like it ain't changing, bro. It ain't."
Yeah.
And like that thing hit like a boulder, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times as men, we want to hold on to things.
Yep.
And like
we want to be right.
Yeah, we want to be right. Like it don't matter if we are right, we just want to be right. And
tell me that I'm right.
right. But we gotta learn to confess, man. We gotta learn to say out loud, "Hey, baby," or "Hey, bro. Like, help me out in this area. I'm struggling here. I'm struggling there." And like just to hear 4,000 men confess where they are in their walk. Like it's just
amazing.
Bananas.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Did I say there's something about, and I do it like on my worship nights when I do it on like my TikTok live, like the majority of the people that are in there are female. You know how excited I get when dudes are in the chat? Like, I love to worship with other men. That's the part I wanted to go to that for. Not that the teachings and the guest and work, but just to have 4,000 men being vulnerable, singing, raising their hands, all that stuff. But what you just said on confessing that, or like that's not how we were all raised. That's how we need to be. That's how we like. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I think that's where how we lead. That's where we have to be. That's what we're called to do. It's just not easy. That's why we're all here. So, all right, we'll close it out. 6 minutes. A piece of advice, obviously, but the last question: what's one thing you wish you had started doing earlier as a father or a husband that you are now intentionally building into your life?
Say that again.
What's one thing you wish you had started doing earlier as a father or a husband that you are now intentionally building into your life?
Oh yeah, I know this. I'll go. Pick me. Pick me.
Eric.
Reading the word as a family. We're carving out time now where we walked in church to pick up Evan. Well, Ethan was volunteering because he didn't have middle school church this past Sunday, but we went to pick up Evan, and the lady opened the door and we were standing there. She said, "Ooh, I have to tell you, your son prayed for you," talking about his mother. And she was like, he just led the children's church in prayer for his mom and stuff. And he just smiling and stuff like that. But I'm standing there proud because we're incorporating that into. Now, I'd say early off into them being babies, that was more maybe the grandmother. That was more Aaron's mom. She lived with us at different times, and she was constantly with them more while we were out working. So you could tell she was leaving Bible verses and nuggets for them and things of that nature. And I was kind of like, quit doing that. It's supposed to be me. But I wasn't stepping up doing it.
Yep.
And so now it's nothing for them. I keep anointing oil in my truck. And I might pop them before they get out the truck, just something to encourage their day, to let them know they're covered, but also that they have a responsibility to pray for their friends that might be lonely or doesn't have friends or whatever. And so that's, man, I that ain't me, nothing that I do so well, but it's something that it is a priority to feed them with the word.
It's good.
Awesome.
Devo, Anthony.
I think it's the same thing as we said at the beginning, just understanding time short and being intentional with it. And I'm going through actually 52 weeks of systematic theology with my youngest now. And, she's a fairly new believer in Christ. And so, and she said one of the reasons she came to Christ is she knew she hears me doing Bible studies, but she said that I've always asked her to do a Bible study with me, and so part of that just that real faith just started speaking to her, and then when she came to Christ, I didn't do a Bible study with her, and so I was like, what am I doing, right? And so now it's like, man, like be intentional with that. Like that's the greatest gift I can give her is God's word, and
100%.
so I need to just do that. Whether I'm living it out, reading it with her, whatever it is, praying with her, praying over her
Yeah.
is just giving her the presence of the Lord.
Yeah.
That's
Good.
That's good.
Good.
That's what's
Devo.
up.
I think for me, it's just to be more inquisitive instead of always feeling like I'm the one that needs to make the decision, to ask. Like, I think there's such power in just relying on your resources, relying on your stream, relying on your tribe to develop the answer. I mean, because like they teach us in education all the time, if it's always a top-down decision, the people don't have ownership in it, right?
Correct.
And so, like it does the the word I'm gonna use in this situation is organization, but I'm really talking about the family unit.
Yep.
I think it'll bring more cohesiveness if everyone is a part of the decision making, and then like share your your thinking behind the decisions that are being made and why the decisions are being made. Like I think those are just so important. I think a lot of times as men we just make decisions and it's because I said so. Like I heard that for 20 years. You know, um,
I still hear it.
right? And you dang on sure
Yep.
better not ask why,
No,
right?
just because I said
Just
so.
because I can, because I'm
Right.
your daddy,
Mhm.
and so like being that unit because one thing I know, like I'm so amazed now, like my girls have opinions and they have voices and
Mhm.
they can articulate like and make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? And so like I have to give them a platform, one, to share their opinion, and two, to have that discourse because when they go out into the real world, we have to make sure that they are able to um, interact with the masses and be able to stand on their own 2 feet when it comes to making decisions, getting things done, getting the oil change, getting their tires changed. Like all of that stuff plays into effect. And if we're always making a decision for them, they never have the ability to stand on their own too.
True.
So
Good. That's good.
that's what we is at the
That's who
Carson
he is
household.
at the Carson household. I would say just leading by example for me. I wish I do a morning devotion, usually two of them in the morning, men's devotion. But I wish that I would have done that earlier on with my kids and then gotten them, when they first got phones, like, hey, we're going to put the Bible app on there. Hudson shares a verse with me he's got on his phone to pop up. So I wish I would have done that earlier for myself and for them, because I can see and feel the difference when I miss a day. It's just something about the the phone not being the first thing in the morning, or I get my coffee and then I go sit in my spot on the couch and do that. It's a yeah, I started bringing those with me when I travel, all of that stuff. So that I wish I would have done for myself, which I think would have helped me be a better, dad, be a better employee, all of those things. So for me, that's mine that I have to do every day. So, all right, closing arguments for you guys, for myself, for everybody listening. If you're in this season where you're quietly asking, is this it? Just know that you're not alone. That question doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean you're less than. It just means you may be waking up. Maybe you are figuring it out. Midlife can be a crisis if a man clings to his false identity. but it can become a calling if we let God redefine what matters most. And hopefully you've taken some of what each of us have said tonight. And again, Matt says it all the time. We miss Matt and Jason tonight, but failing forward is the most important thing. Is we're here not because we're doing everything right. It's because we made the mistakes first and we want you not to make them. So that's the years ahead do not have to be marked by regret or by any of those things other than pivot and transform. So we appreciate y'all hanging out, fellas. It's a good one. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for doing the midlife crisis thing. You know, it's what I get to look forward to when I get as old as you guys. So but thank y'all so much. Lord willing, we'll be here next Tuesday, 9 o'clock, and maybe we'll have Matt and Jason back and who knows who. So Anthony, good to see you, my friend. So glad you're back. Glad you guys had a good weekend. Glad you're able to share that with us too, you and Devo. Next year, we're all planned to be at that one. So, closing remarks. Everybody good? Have a fantastic rest of the week. March Madness starts Thursday, baby. Let's go.
Starts tonight, baby.
Yeah, play-ins are tonight. The real tournament.
Tell my dad that. He still thinks it's Tuesday, Wednesday. No, it's Thursday, Friday.
No, it's Thursday, Friday. So, all right.
Love you.